أعزائي المشاهدين، خبر عاجل جدا. هل انسحب بنس من الانتخابات فعلا زي ما تم إشاعة الخبر في الميديا؟ لم ينسحب بنس، والدليل النهاردة فوكس نيوز بتذيع اقوى خطاب لبنس على الإطلاق أنا سمعته قبل كده.
I'll tell you, under President Donald Trump, David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler, if the world knows nothing else, the world will know this. America stands with Israel.
أمريكا تحت حكم الرئيس ترامب بتساند إسرائيل. ده رد مباشر على التصعيد النووي الإيراني اللي شغال دلوقتي، وتخصيب اليورانيوم اللي كان أيام أوباما 4% ووقف أيام ترامب، وبيرجعوه تاني بمجرد فوز مزيف لبايدن ل 20% تخصيب يورانيوم عشان يفجروا العالم بالنووي. حرب عالمية نووية هتحصل لو بايدن مسك.
Support abortion on demand and taxpayer funding of abortion all the way up to the moment of birth. I couldn't be more proud to serve alongside the most pro-life president in American history. And I couldn't be more grateful that David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler stand for the right to life.
أنا فخور إن أمريكا بتقف ضد كل القوانين اللي بتبيح قتل الطفل حتى يوم ولادته، وانا فخور ان بيقف معانا في الموقف ده وديفيد برديو وكالي ريفلر.
So you all know what the stakes are here in Georgia. But if you haven't got it in focus yet, just listen to what Chuck Schumer said. He said, quote, "Now we take Georgia, then we change America."
احنا هناخد جورجيا وهنغير امريكا.
Well, I got another message for Chuck Schumer and the Washington Democrats. We're going to keep Georgia. And we're going to save America.
احنا هناخد جورجيا وهننقذ امريكا.
You know, I mentioned President Trump will be in Georgia a little bit later today. And I heard Joe Biden is going to hold a little rally of his own. A couple of weeks ago, Joe Biden was in Georgia. You may have heard about it. He actually said that Georgia, these are his words, he said that Georgia doesn't need two senators who, quote, are just going to get in the way. Well, Georgia, that's exactly what we need in the United States Senate.
من شوية أسابيع فاتوا جو بايدن قال احنا مش عايزين جورجيا تتحول وتقبل الأعضاء دي للسنة الأمريكي من النوع ده، اللي هم النوع اللي هو بيرشحهم دلوقتي جو بايدن عشان ما يوقفوش ضد القوانين دي. هو بيقول هم دول بالظبط النوع ده بالظبط اللي احنا عايزينه، النوع ده من السنة هو اللي احنا عايزينه لأمريكا، هو ده النوع اللي يقف ضد الشر ده كله.
We need Senator David Perdue and Senator Kelly Loeffler to get in the way of the radical left's agenda in Washington, D.C. We need David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler to get in the way of higher taxes, open borders, socialized medicine, and a Green New Deal. Georgia needs two senators that will get in the way of the radical agenda of the Democratic Party and fight for Georgia's values every day. That's why we need Georgia to say no to Ossoff and Warnock, and yes to David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler tomorrow, January 5.
غدا يوم 5 يناير الانتخاب لديفيد برديو and كالي ريفلر.
To keep America great, to preserve all the progress we've made, to protect our values and our most cherished liberties, I need you to do a few things in the next 24 hours and more. First and foremost, we need you to vote, Georgia. Vote to send David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler back to Washington, D.C. And I can tell you, our great Republican chairman in the state and our senators will tell you, we literally have thousands of people, don't we, Ralph, all across this state that are watching this time. We're on them. We're going to secure the polls. We're going to secure the drop boxes. You get out and vote tomorrow, and you vote for David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler, and be confident. And if you haven't already cast your vote, remember, if you're heading out tomorrow, friends, don't let friends vote alone. Bring a family member, bring a neighbor, and vote to send David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler back to Washington, D.C. You know, I know we all got our doubts about the last election. And I want to assure you, I share the concerns of millions of Americans about voting irregularities. And I promise you, come this Wednesday, we'll have our day in Congress. We'll hear the objections. We'll hear the evidence. But tomorrow is Georgia's day. So for our faith, for our freedom, we need you to vote, Georgia. Vote to send David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler back to the United States Senate. You know, I actually hear some people saying, just don't vote. But men and women of Georgia, if you don't vote, they win. If you don't vote, there could be nothing stopping Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi from cutting our military, raising taxes, and passing the agenda of the radical left. So for all we've done, for all we have yet to do, for our president, for our faith, for our freedoms, for Georgia and America, cast another vote for all that President Trump has accomplished. Cast a vote to send David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler back to the United States Senate. We've got to have Georgia hold the line. Will you do it? I believe you will. I believe you will because I have faith. Just like all of you. I have faith in the people of this state. The people of this state represent all that's great about this country. But family and faith and freedom. And I just know that you're going to get out. You're going to cast that vote. You're going to talk to your neighbors and friends in every hour that remains between now and when the polls close tomorrow. And tell them what's at stake in this election. The eyes of America are on Georgia. And people who share our values and our deals across this country, we're looking to you. We're looking to you, Georgia. We're looking to you to hold the line, and I believe with all my heart that you will. And lastly, I have that other kind of faith, too. The challenging times in which we live, I believe more than ever that we stand in the need of prayer. And I know that millions of Americans are joining with you in a chorus of prayer in the hours that remain between now and the close of the polls. And I just want to encourage you to practice prayer in a renewed way as we work to defend the majority. I just encourage you to pray for the future of this state and this nation. And when you pray, pray with confidence in those ancient words that Americans have clung to in much more challenging times than we could possibly imagine. That if his people who are called by his name will humble themselves and pray and turn, that he'll do like he's always done in the long and storied history of this country. He'll hear from heaven and he'll heal this land. So pray, Georgia. Pray for America. for all the American people. I know it'll make a difference. And I want to thank you for letting me join you here at Rock Springs Church, and I thank you all for coming out. I really do. And also, you know, it's the greatest honor of my life to be your vice president. On behalf of my family, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the privilege. You know, I leave here today very grateful for the enthusiasm that I see and the support. And I know the President will see that today. But I can tell all of you that I was reminded recently that even when it doesn't seem that way, that God is always working. I have to tell you, Benny may appreciate this story. I shared it a little while back. I received a letter from a pastor who leads a church not far from Jacksonville, Florida, this spring. He told me of a time that he and his new bride were attending Asbury Seminary in Wilmore, Kentucky, back in 1977. As I read the letter, he talked about his experience there. Asbury Seminary would host a Christian music festival every year. They'd present the gospel in song and then in preaching and invite young people from all across the Midwest to come. They'd have bands that would take the stage in what was the early days of contemporary Christian music. And he wrote to me that they had decided at the seminary in 1977 to cancel the event. But he and his new bride said that they felt a calling to volunteer to lead it. And he wrote to me saying that, quote, several friends told us that it would be very hard on our new marriage and that we shouldn't do it, a year-long project of setting up this festival. But then he said, we answered the call. We gathered a few other seminarians to help us, and they worked a whole year to arrange the event in the spring of 1978. And then, as he wrote, he told me that the night came, the culminating evening of the event. It was a Saturday night, where he and his new bride were walking through the camp area, and it was raining. They were disappointed. They thought it had all been for naught. He wrote to me, and that's because I didn't know that night a future vice president of the United States would be giving his life to Jesus Christ. He wrote on, he said, quote, I cannot write this without tears. And I couldn't read it without tears. Because I remember that night. Sitting on a hillside. It was raining. And it was like I heard the words for the first time. That God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son, that whoever might believe in him might not perish, but might have eternal life. And I stood up, 18 years young, and I walked down that night. Not out of a sense of intellectual assent, but because my heart was broken with gratitude for what had been done on the cross for me. It took a while to write that pastor back. Karen and I had the chance to meet him and his wife when we were in Jacksonville a few months later. I wasn't able to write that letter without tears. But I said to him at the end, now I know who else to thank for that night so many years ago. But the lesson of his letter was this. It's the reason I share it. He said to me, Mike, when I heard of the decision you'd made that night, I realized that even when things don't seem like they're going the way we expected, they're going the way he expected. So let me say from my heart, I truly believe on the eve of this Georgia election and every day forward, that if we will hold fast to him, we'll see our way through these challenging times. We'll restore our nation. We'll restore our nation's health. We'll renew our freedom, and we will continue to inspire people all across this land with our witness of the love and compassion and strength that comes in a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. We don't know what the future holds, but we know who holds the future. One of my favorite quotes from Winston Churchill was in an address to Congress in 1941. And he said, quote, "He must indeed have a blind soul who cannot see that some great purpose and design is being worked out here below, which we have the honor to be faithful servants." So let's be faithful servants. Let's do our part. Let's do our part to preserve all that is great and good about this last best hope of mankind. I leave here today just confident if all of us do all that we need to do, all across this state and all across this country, when Georgia steps up and holds the line and defends the majority, when Georgia steps up to vote your values and your convictions tomorrow, when you send David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler back to a Republican majority in the United States Senate, we're going to keep America great. And we're going to keep making America greater than ever before. Thank you very much, Georgia. God bless you. God bless America. Now let's go get it done.